Hi, this is Mercy Miglino and
Teresa Paul, how are you?
right, and we're the Rebel Minds coaching the headlines. Today we have our own headline: Mirrors and Madness, coaching through narcissism and the current administrator enigma. Wow, is that a mouthful or what? But you know what? It's a dizzying territory. I mean, every day I hear people really not knowing what to believe or how they're feeling about this. But you know what? The people in charge are reflecting us. So we can do something about this. It's interesting.
So what do you mean by reflecting us?
It's
Reflecting?
like a mirror. It's a mirror to our own cultural wounds,
Yeah.
our, our own cultural beliefs. We, in a cosmic sense, we manifested this. And a pretty powerful one because there's a lot of us. Even if you didn't, you were out there, on the opposite sides or whatever, this separation, this polarization, or a topic we're going to get into more next time, this idea that we're not connected, that somehow it's personality first, every man for themselves, and it's just a doing world, performance. You're not valuable unless you're doing something. But what we're noticing, Teresa, is that this, you know, per- perceived show of strength is really fear-based. It's
Absolutely.
fear-based.
And that's what I was thinking as you were speaking. It speaks to the fear in us. And we're so conditioned. I mean, from the beginning of time, cavemen they lived in fear of being
Yeah.
eaten while they were out trying to get food. And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
very primal part of us that can be triggered by this stuff. And
Mm.
we're letting it. Like our
Yeah.
intelligence is taking a back seat and we're letting fear drive the bus. And we can do
Yeah.
something about that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Um, some people have like said, is this narcissism at work? Or you'll have to help me with this word, solipsism. And I'll spell it for you folks: solipsist, which is someone who only they live in their own little world, and they have little regard for others, for empathy, or even a shared reality. So we are certainly among, I would say, a little bit of both, but
I
I'd
think
like
they're
to,
married right now. I think they're
yeah,
married
yeah.
and the worst of both is coming out,
Hmm.
right? There that solipsism is
Hmm.
using the narcissism as a tool to really wreak havoc on us. And here's the other thing, Mercy, and I don't know if this is going to be very popular, but things like this shine a spotlight on things like narcissism,
Hmm.
right? Unless that spotlight's on, we go about our day and we ignore it, right? But when it's blatant and in your face and all the time, we
Hmm.
have to address it. And I think that's the beautiful part of it. We
Yeah,
can no longer pretend it doesn't exist, like we
right.
tend to do in this country about a lot of things.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has to be addressed, and we all have to make a decision about it now.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And, the good thing is, even though it's, again, not pleasant, is that it's getting to such an extreme where, to sit and do nothing is really it's criminal to sit and do nothing. But that doesn't mean you have to go out and donate your life savings or march along, whatever. It means that even though our systems, politics, media, whatever, amplify this narcissistic world, we as coaches can help individuals navigate the noise now and create what we know. What do you believe? What do you want to believe? Because you can make that happen. Remain in integrity, remain curious, even though it's tempting some days to hate or to argue or to fight. Remain curious. And this is what will elevate us to that to that higher level that we need to be at to address what's happening.
I agree. I agree. Because the noise is coming from the two ends. A lot of noise. But
Hmm.
there's a whole bunch of people in the middle
Yeah.
um, that don't necessarily want to fight that fight. So we have to change the narrative on that moving forward. And because that light is so bright, we can't, we have to now. Like
Mhm.
it's so extreme that it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And I think that in the coming years, because this is a temporary thing, even though it feels very real right now, it will change how we operate for the better. It will change how we do things for the better. But
Yeah.
more people have to see it, right? More people on
Hmm.
both sides have to see it and make decisions about it. Right? I'm not telling you what to think about it or how to decide, but you have to make decisions about how you participate in it right now. And is that your best self?
Yeah, exactly. We have to think about like this is what y'all can do, when you are in the midst of this, because we do need to find the middle and we have to find the higher ground. And that's sometimes tricky. But when you feel, yourself leaning into the narcissistic culture, um, you know, and getting we are so complex, but the narcissistic culture is black and white, either or, good or bad, friend or enemy. Um, we have to think about this. What
And
am
I think a
I?
better word is overwhelmed. For me, it's
It is
overwhelming,
overwhelmed. It
right?
is
And when we get
overwhelming.
overwhelmed, what do? I shut down. Like I can't deal with all of it, so I shut down. Right. So the
Yeah.
best part of me doesn't participate, which means I'm not affecting anything. What we have to
Yeah.
do, and I think where the coaching comes in, is work through the overwhelm and decide what one thing or two things I can do personally so I can
Hmm.
feel better. Because when I feel
Yeah.
better and you feel better and the next person feels better, all of a sudden people start to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Narcissism, in the headlines, however it shows up, if we look again as it being a mirror of our culture, and our culture includes us, the mirror is mucked up. It's filthy. You cannot see anything anymore. Now, as coaches and as clients, our job might be to clean that mirror so that we see more clearly what's happening beyond the fear, behind the chaos, and beyond the overwhelm.
Well, and it takes us individually working. Like, I know there's a lot of emphasis on working together to make change, but that only happens when we individually commit to it.
Yes.
So it is an individual process for the greater good of the whole. And so
Yeah.
if we can stress that so that each person knows they have a job, it's not a
Yeah.
big job, but when we all work together, we can make change. But
Hmm.
but by sitting in the middle and being overwhelmed and unable to move, then our energy, our voice is not being heard, it's not being felt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest downside to all of this, is
Yeah.
because the loud
Exactly.
people are being heard and it's overwhelming us. And so what can we do about that? Mercy, how
Right.
can we
Well, as I just said, we have to be aware. We are part of the culture. In that respect, we're part of the problem because we have adapted behaviors, even not intentionally, but for now, you've got to intentionally think about who do you want to be in this overwhelm, in this dark time? Um, and if that means getting a coach so that you can get to your underlying beliefs about this, because it is possible to have peace even during this time. Um, but it takes effort. It takes being aware. It takes accepting it because you can't change what you don't accept. And it takes action. So, individual, group, whatever, it can be a tiny thing. My sister says that she gets up every day and says, how can I put positivity into the world? And that she finds one task for that, and she feels 100% better about what's going on. Because the worst we want to feel as human beings is powerless. We
Well,
are
and it's
not
interesting
powerless.
as you say that, because in this country, in the US, we haven't faced many times like this, at least not in my lifetime, in your lifetime.
Mhm, mhm,
But across the world, they are in a constant state of
mhm.
this. And so
Yes.
we're ill equipped, we're ill
Mhm,
prepared, right?
mhm.
And so we need to get prepared
Yeah.
for survival, and not just
Mhm,
survival of our bodies, but survival of our souls,
mhm.
survival of our expansion, and survival of the reason that we're here, right? Because if we don't do that, then what are we trying to survive for? Right?
Exactly. What are we trying to survive for? We'll put that question out to you guys. Feel free to comment. And next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about the soul and coaching and the headlines. See you then.
Perfect. See you then. Thanks, Mercy.